Ministry of Magic Educational Films presents Bowtruckles Are No Chuckle. Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Oh, it's recording now? Okay. Ministry of Magic Educational Films presents Bowtruckles Are No Chuckle. Oh, they said that already? Just start with my part? Okay. Many young witches and wizards these days do not give proper heed to the complexities and dangers of wildlife. As such, the Ministry has started our educational film series to encourage students to understand the importance of caution when dealing with wildlife. Today's topic, Bowtruckles. Bowtruckles, also known colloquially as tree guardians, are common in forests across England, Germany, and Scandinavia. Bowtruckles are not capable of magic, but they are attracted to trees imbued with magical properties. They live in these magical trees in small groups called tribes. Each tribe is dedicated to the protection of their tree. Generally, Bowtruckles are peaceful and do not attack unless they feel their tree is threatened. When they feel threatened, Bowtruckles are anything but peaceful. Perhaps you may remember the case of Sabrina Whitfall and Audrey McCrae, which made headlines in the Daily Prophet last summer. Whitfall and McCrae were two young graduates fresh out of Hogwarts. The pair were also recently engaged and decided to celebrate with a camping trip in the woods, a fateful camping trip which would turn into tragedy. They had the misfortune to come across a tree that was full of Bowtruckles. How did they not notice the tree was full of Bowtruckles, you might ask? Bowtruckles are masters of camouflage. They have two types, passive and defensive camouflage. Passively camouflaged Bowtruckles tend to live higher up in the tree. They have a body covered in dark skin with a pattern similar to tree bark. They also have appendages attached to their arms, legs, and bodies that appear to be covered in leaves. Their fingers are long and thin with sharp tips. Defensively camouflaged Bowtruckles are similar, but they live on or around the forest floor. They do not have leaf-like appendages. Their skin is slightly lighter, and their fingertips are sharper. They are the first line of defense for the tree. Typically, fingers are simply used for digging out wood lice from trees and other small bugs that live near the roots. In fact, wand makers often carry bags of wood lice to distract Bowtruckles when harvesting branches for wand making. When provoked, these sharp fingers leave deep scratches, and in some cases, they have even gouged out eyes. Also, Bowtruckle fingers may break off in an attack and become caught in the skin. They splinter roughly when being removed, but otherwise are not hazardous. The Bowtruckle is able to regrow fingers that have broken. Unfortunately for Whitfall and McCrae, their camping trip took a particularly nasty turn. Unaware that the tree was inhabited with Bowtruckles, Whitfall had decided to carve their initials into the tree as a symbol of their eternal love. She never finished carving. Immediately, the pair was attacked by Bowtruckles. The Bowtruckles used their claw-like fingers to rip into their necks and faces. Immediately, Whitfall whipped out her wand and cast Incendio to burn the Bowtruckles. Unfortunately, Bowtruckles are generally immune to spells. One theory is that this happens because their natural habitat is full of a constant flow of condensed magical energy throughout the tree. Another theory is that Bowtruckles are actually formed from trees themselves as guardians, and thus are imbued with the same magic flowing through the tree. Whatever the reason may be, the Bowtruckles are typically not affected by spells. When Whitfall cast Incendio, the spell rebounded upon her, greatly injuring and disfiguring her. McCrae was battling her own group of Bowtruckles and did not see her fiancé struggle. She stumbled out of the woods, and it was only then that she noticed Whitfall had not stumbled out with her. Rescue wizards went back in for Whitfall, but by the time they found her, she was dead. The rebounded Incendio spell burned her so badly that she had to be identified by her teeth. McCrae survived, but her wounds from the Bowtruckles have left her permanently disfigured, and she has struggled to deal with the loss of her fiancé. She hopes her story will serve as a warning to others about how dangerous wildlife can be. The best way to avoid conflict with Bowtruckles is to avoid them, and if you should come in contact with them, retreat. Do not attempt to cast spells on them. If you absolutely have to access a tree inhabited by Bowtruckles, use woodlice or other bugs indigenous to the ecosystem to distract them and work quickly. Bowtruckles are no Chuckle. This has been a Ministry of Magic educational film.